Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with tenor saxophonist Chris Gale of the Toronto Group called Hector. He opened up about their newest 2021 CD called Unchartered. Hector is a Toronto-based jazz collective featuring Chris Gale, Ted Quinlan, Jeff McLeod, and Chris Wallace. Chris talked about his life and music and hope for the future and the band. Enjoy. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for sending over the music. I really appreciate it. My producer, engineer for the show, John Christopher, he runs a show called The Neon Beat, which is the American Songbook, and I gave him a copy of the CD, so they're both in good hands, so I appreciate that.
Oh, you got it. Happy to spread it out there. I'm glad you're into it, and thanks for showing the interest.
You bet. So I guess since we've talked about, the tapestry of what we're living right now is the pandemic. Talk to me about the timing of this release, how you feel about it coming out now, kind of the evolution of that.
The album itself was recorded pre-pandemic. We did that in 2018, actually. I guess in some weird way, the pandemic, as far as releasing the album, did me a favor because, when everything shut down and, we're all kind of retreating to our corners and trying to stay safe and healthy, a lot of us all of a sudden found, we had a lot of time on our hands. And that album had been sitting in the can for a while, so that, this grand pause kind of got me thinking more about, let's put it out there. What are you waiting for? And here we are,
And I think that's kind of, now that we're kind of in this nostalgic kind of look back on last year, since this has been about a year, I remember when I was getting CDs last March, no one knew this was going to happen, and everybody was gearing up to go on tour for CDs that are coming out. Now when CDs are coming out, it's more of, this is the only way that you can really, truly reach out and connect and communicate with your fans.
Well, exactly. And to try and extend what reach any artist might already have, and having that extra time, I guess, allowed me to do some deeper digging and try to get the music out there, I guess, as far as possible, just to put it out there, right? So
what do you ultimately want the listener to get from this experience? I know it made me feel, it just made me feel good about where jazz is today and kind of how things continue to move forward. What's your goal for the listener with this album?
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, thank you for for that. I don't know if I actually have a goal. The idea with the band, it's a collective. It's a collective sort of muse. We all write tunes for the group and stuff. And it was really just about, let's get a presentation of this band out there so it's, on record and hopefully help us get, more traction with gigs and stuff like that. What I want the listener to get out of the album is whatever they can, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I just hope the experience is something that's enjoyable. For me, I hope that it can be something that's appreciated, like with a set of headphones and maybe a favorite beverage or something like that, and just kind of let it wash over you and take it as you choose to interpret it. For me, the band, the three of the guys in the band are some of my closest friends, and we work together all over the scene in Toronto, here and there, and it was an excuse just to get all of us in the same room. We dig each other's compositions, and let's see what we got here. And the band just kind of came together that way. No particular goal in mind beyond let's write music and play together because we love the company, and it kind of went from there.
Yeah, that's the cornerstone of all of it. Talk to me a little bit about growing up. How did jazz become your life?
I kind of fell into it. Growing up as a kid, my dad, he was a radio host as well. He had his own classical music radio show when I was growing up in Hamilton, Ontario. And he also played the piano, and so in the house, music was a big thing. There was always music on the radio. He was always playing classical tunes on the piano. I think, my impression, he never admitted this, but I think he would have made a great jazz piano player because another thing he liked to do, he could sight read almost anything, and he liked to sort of improvise fugues. He wanted to, this is what my idea of a Bach fugue would sound like, and he would just make things up. He was always riffing, Music was like a strong and positive thing in the house. And my parents pushed me early to get into instruments like violin and piano. And then public school, well, in our music school, we were sort of assigned instruments. You didn't get much of a choice. And in grade 6, I remember Mr. Bird, our music teacher, he said, Chris, you're going to play clarinet. And one of my friends, Effie Margaritas, one of my neighbors and good friends, she was given the saxophone. And when our music teacher's back was turned, we just switched instruments because I didn't want clarinet. She didn't want saxophone. And he didn't notice the difference when he turned back around. And it just kind of went from there. I kept with it all through high school. But I didn't actually imagine me going into it as a career. By the time I was finishing high school, all of my friends, I remember they had this plan. Oh, I'm going to go on and, I want to be a pilot, or I want to get into law, or I want to become a cop. Or everyone seemed to have this plan of their next step after high school, and I had no clue. And I remember just looking at my transcripts and going, well, music is my best mark. So maybe I'll just check this out. And that led to college, and that led to university. And by the time I was getting my degree, I was thinking more like I would get my teaching certificate and maybe go into teaching high school or something like that, stay in music, but I still didn't believe I could make a living just playing. And then when I was finishing up university, I'd been hanging out in Toronto for a number of years and jamming and meeting lots of players, establishing contacts, and the phone just started ringing and gigs started, filling up the calendar. And I ended up not graduating university because the gig life just took over. And once I started playing full time, I never looked back. So I fell into it, and I'm so happy I did. It wasn't the original plan, but, here I am now, and no regrets at all.
What do you like the best about being a musician? What's the thing you look forward to the most every day?
One of the things I love the most about being a musician is the community that I'm a part of. There's a special bond, there's a special kind of camaraderie amongst musicians, or I guess amongst any clique where you're really tight and you're really invested in that thing that you love so much. Our community up here, like most musical communities around the world, are really solid and strong and supportive. It's great to be able to just, show up to do a gig. Maybe it's a pickup gig, and you don't even know who's going to be on the bandstand. And you walk in, and there's like 3 or 5 of your good buddies just setting up, getting ready to go. I sure do love that. We influence each other, we support each other, we inspire each other. We all love, playing together, and we're constantly looking for excuses to let's make a band just because we like playing together. I think that's the biggest thing. And then once you're doing it, once you're playing the music and you're on stage and you've got that connection with the core musicians, and you're working at getting that connection with the crowd. And when that sort of symbiotic relationship all comes together in the live performance, that's where the magic's at, and I don't think you could arrive at that without having the core of a musical community that you love so dearly to lean on, to have that be the launch pad. So I think it's that entire experience. That's what music is to me, at least.
What do you miss the most about that old world, that time last year when we could do whatever we wanted to do and play live music and all of that? What are you looking forward to getting back to the most?
As a listener and an appreciator of music, I can't wait to just freely walk downtown into my favorite local, which is also one of the best jazz clubs in town, the Rex Hotel, and sidle up to the bar, get a pint of beer, get comfortable, and listen to whoever's playing on that stage, and just get back to that. I mean, I guess the other part, back to your first question about what I love so much about being a musician, that's also inspired from going to see live music and feeling what that does to me as a listener and being excited about it and sort of transfixed by it. So I can't wait to be an audience member again, and obviously also just hit the stage with my friends and play some music and just be normal, How about a hug here or there in a crowded bar with some great tunes on the stage? Can't wait to get back to that kind of thing whenever we can.
Well, when we do get back to live music, what do you hope we all realize, both musician and the audience, about this time away from live music?
Well, I hope I hope it's a general feeling, one that I've experienced, is how much I miss listening to live music, let alone performing it. And I hope that everyone will be, reinvigorated to want to go out and support the arts, support live music, support the visual arts, you name it. Just get out and interact with people, like we're social beings. And I don't know, I just hope that there will be, because of this big pause that we're in while we try to recover and stay healthy, I hope that's created a bigger hunger, a bigger appetite for those kind of experiences. Maybe people will miss it enough to seek the value in it. And then by that I mean, like, yeah, it's worth paying X amount to buy this album, or pay X amount to cover charge to go into a club and listen to some artists really lay down something amazing and experiential and beautiful for, everyone involved. I just hope that appetite comes back bigger and stronger than ever.
So everyone has a perception of you, your family, your friends, your fans, but you're living your life. Who do you think you are?
Who do I think I am? That's a big one, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, you got me there. I didn't see that coming. I think in its simplest form, I see myself as a musician who's just trying to do right by the music and do right by the people that are important, in the immediate sense of my life, my family and my friends, and just get through it, and maybe help people smile along the way. Maybe that's it, I guess doing what we do as musicians and having that ability to reach people and sometimes connect quite deeply with strangers, over a song. You don't know how that can go, and sometimes you establish these random connections. And if I can be a conduit for experiences like that as a musician, then I feel like I'm, playing a good part. Just another little cog in this musical machine. I guess that's kind of how I see it. And keep a positive attitude. Try to keep a smile on your face. That's about it.
Cool, man. Right on. Chris, thank you again for sending the music. Thanks for taking time out for Neon Jazz today. I appreciate it.
Joe, thanks for the call. Great to talk to you, and thanks again for reaching out.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in Toronto, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Chris for his time, music, and story. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.